Now, you guys can go back. We have done an episode on the beginning of the White Knight series, which was a great episode that I thoroughly enjoyed. And now we are going to, it's called Batman White Knight Harley presents Harley Quinn.
Rich, I always kind of look at you being the default person for White Knight, Batman White Knight stuff. You are the person who introduced it to us. Thank you again. It's been a great series from the beginning to the end. And the end's still on site. So do you want to introduce the book to our audience? Then we can start talking about it?
It's by Sean Murphy. I've always just given Sean Murphy the credit, but it's actually a duo. It's Sean Murphy and Katana Collins, who I learned is actually usually a romance writer. And she definitely gets her jam of romance in here. And they both did a fantastic story.
It's definitely a romance book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they've crafted this beautiful universe that is really the way I've always seen the Joker, which I've discussed with all you guys before, and you too, Justin.
Well, this is a much better presentation of the Joker than any DC continuity has ever been.
Yeah, the biggest thing is right in the beginning, where they basically recraft the history of Harley and Joker. And also some of the psychosis that Harleen takes on that she feels is her fault. Because in the storyline, as you guys know from reading the first story, Jack Napier was Jack, and they met before he was Joker. And I know how I feel about it, and I know you guys know how I feel about it, but I'm really interested what Justin's perception was, because he's our guest host, and he hasn't talked a lot tonight. So Justin, tell me what you thought.
What a redemption for the character of Jack Napier this is. And the idea that Harley was integral in the creation of the Joker, and that Harley was brought through school by Napier and all that, it really it subverts your expectations. It juxtaposes the characters. It takes a look at that sort of like, that's the toxic relationship of Joker and Harley. Like, well, what if it wasn't? What if it was everything that we thought it could be? Because these are just two people in love. And that's what this story is about. And there's a lot of stuff that happens after the White Knight and then to this point. So they'll even use that as the tagline. Batman's in jail. Joker's gone. And Harley is trying to figure out this mystery in like a long Halloween style case. It's pretty great. I gotta say, it was a really good read.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you got the perception too.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just gonna say, I have to say, I find this version of DC way better than, and I'm a big fan of DC, way better than the regular Batman, because it shows you the repercussions of both sides. Like, whether you're good or bad, nobody's just good and nobody's just bad. I mean, hopefully there are some people, but everybody, the repercussions, like he's a gangster and all this stuff, but the beatings that they're subjected to through Batman and the foul play of the cops and all this other stuff, and never mind the roughness of just trying to get through life, what they are doing, what they have to do to survive. It's no longer, there's a gray line. It's no longer black and white anymore. I find it like it makes you, the reader, think more, okay, yeah, Joker's bad, but there's all this other stuff going on too, and what would I do if that happened to me? I think the whole White Knight series in itself is a great look into comic books and what they can be.
Absolutely. And Jeremy, just to piggyback on that, I feel like this series really makes a wonderful case that the kind of thinking in comics that created the Elseworlds in the 90s is still something that should really be explored in DC still, because it's just sometimes good to see a refreshing, different perspective on classic characters. I mean, again, anyone can argue that not every Elseworld was amazing. Some were okay, some were not, some were mind blowing. We've covered a few of them ourselves on the show, But this one, what I really like
we
about it
just covered
is
one.
no,
was not great.
you were saying which
You
one?
just covered the Darkest Night, the Batman where he gets the Green Lantern, and that one was a little subpar. So I will absolutely agree with you. We covered that on Comics Paradox recently.
Yeah. So if you want to, again, shameless plug, Comics Paradox explores all Elseworlds, good, bad, and the fugly. But back onto this, what I really like about it is that Sean Murphy's universe, it has this wonderful thing where it pays such good attention to detail. You have your big action moments, you have your characters, but everybody's very, very developed. Everybody's very real. Everybody's very relatable. There's nobody that you feel is just thrown in there and they do nothing. There's no wallpaper characters. Everybody has their small moments. Like one of my favorites was actually the beginning of one of the issues where you just see a brawl in prison and then everybody stops just to let Bruce Wayne walk through and then they keep fighting. It's one page, 4 panels, and it says a multitude of things and there's no dialogue. So again, it's just a wonderful thing. And then you have Katana Collins and working with Sean Murphy here, and then you have Matteo Scalera, who I've always said is a fantastic artist. I've watched his career for a while. He does great Batman. If you do want to see more of his work, check out a series that he did with Rick Morender called Black Science. It's literally like Lost in Space meets the multiverse. It's awesome. But back to this, the style totally matches Murphy's, where it's detailed, but it's also just very effortless. It's like it's got that nice, clean lines of the animated series with the kind of rough grittiness that you would expect of a modern day Gotham City. The detail is there, the story is there. Honestly, this entire universe has won me over. If it publishes any story, I'm reading it. And it just makes a case that this is the kind of stories that DC should be making. Fun, well-written, escapes from reality. Like, cannot recommend this enough. And it has no problem going to dark places, but it doesn't take you to the point where it rubs your face in them. It shows us the darkness, but it still shows that even in Gotham, heroes can still be heroes, villains can still be villains, but it's never always who you think it is.
I think the reveals in this too were just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The way it was done as a true crime kind of like mystery, very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like each act. Is the producer in main continuity? Because this is the first time I've ever heard of him.
No, I don't think. No,
I think they should change that.
Starlet too.
Yeah, I think both of those characters would fit very well in main continuity.
I feel like one character, because I feel like there was a character who was very similar to the producer who we saw in the beginning of the Joker War, which similar to. And the other thing I really enjoyed is I enjoyed this idea that Harley is just Harley is such a unique mom that she sees absolutely no problem with her kids hanging out with hyenas.
Right.
Like another great moment is you just have her kids at the playground and all these parents are freaking out.
We see a lot with the hyenas. We see from when she first sees the hyenas at the carnival, and then again, she's living with the hyenas. The hyenas are, the kids are on the hyenas. Jack gives her the hyenas, and I don't want to ruin it. Something bad happens to one of the hyenas, and then, a beautiful things happen at the end.
They made me cry.
And Harley's evolution in this was a whole other storyline where she's sort of like, okay, Joker's gone, Batman is in jail. What is my role in this world? I've got a job, I've got these kids, I've got the hyenas. I don't want to do crime anymore.
And Another great thing that I loved is that I really don't recall the hyenas ever be given names. I remember in the animated series,
No,
she
but
always called
Yep.
them her babies. And then
No,
when
they
it's
had
like,
names. Lou and
well, then, but
Yeah,
I'm saying Bud and Lou. And then I was just thinking, like, oh my God, that's so genius. Like, again, I don't know if that's something that's exclusive to the Murphyverse or everything, but again, these little details make the world of a difference.
no, going
You
on
know,
what Rich was saying about her being a mother, a work, a detective, like it took Poison Ivy, I think, in this part right here to tell her that, you're all of these people. You're not just one of them. Like, you own all of
right.
this.
right. And it took till the end of the story, Jeremy, for her to accept that.
Yeah.
So it was as much an empowerment journey as it was a redemption journey. And I almost felt like the whole noir mystery thing was almost a secondary story
Mm.
to that arc.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
And it again, it was just such a great read. I mean, 6 issues was a perfect length to tell all of the story. It's such a satisfying conclusion. The twists are great. The action is great. I mean, it's such a solid entry in an already just perfect series. Like, honestly, I've read everything that Sean Murphy has done for this universe, and I've never been like, this is fine. Everything has just been knocked out of the park. So,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
Did you ever
excited.
read this
Go ahead,
Tokyo Ghost?
yes, beautiful.
I was asking if
Great
you guys
stuff.
have ever read Tokyo Ghost. Yep.
Oh yeah,
Drew,
I've read
I
it.
have not.
Not I.
It's a good read. We should definitely add that to our list to review.
Is that
It's
Sean
worth
Murphy as
picking
well
up, yeah.
too?
Mhm. Yeah. Is that Justin? Is that him and Mark Millar, or is that just Sean? Because
I'm not sure from the top of my head. I thought it was him. I think it's an
I think
image book,
it
isn't
might
it?
be. Yeah, it's an image book. It might be him and Rick Morender. I think a fun fact, Jeremy. Mark Millar and Sean Murphy did do a series together. It was called Chrononauts. So definitely check that out.
That's the Tokyo Ghost is Matt Hollingsworth, Rick Remender, and Sean Murphy.
Oh, well, Matt also worked with him on this. So,
Yep. So,
Yeah,
but
and this is the true version. Drew, we've had the conversation about Mad Love and how in the comics it's sort of been a detriment because it's an abusive relationship. But this is the vision
shows
of
it
Mad
very
Love
differently.
should be. This was so beautiful because
That's what I was saying.
it was very pure in the beginning. He was very gallant. He was a mobster and he had just met her and he was not letting her be abused by some other guy just because she was a go-go dancer.
right.
And she could, in his eyes, no matter what, she commanded respect. And he went to just be with her and spend time with her. And their love developed, way before he morphed into the Joker, and
Well,
obviously a sickness. But she blamed herself, and she had to come to a reckoning with that and understand that it was not her. It was not her place to fix him.
1 second, I
Yeah.
have to do this. Justin, pull that up again for a minute. Scroll up. 1 second. The Gray Ghost.
even more?
Mhm.
No, it's
Just
fine.
on the poster right there, the poster you want.
I just wanted to do the Gray Ghost intro.
Gotcha.
From the show. The Gray Ghost.
You see Batman and Gordon?
And Gordon.
Yeah, very Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah. But yeah, so overall,
Oh, and they got the statues over behind him too. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, well, Sean Murphy is notorious. We saw that in the last series. He puts Easter eggs and a lot of stuff from BTAS all over the place and stuff from Batman lore. That man does his homework. There is no doubt.
That newspaper there, you can almost assume that Grey Ghost case happened with Batman and the Ed Bomber. So you can almost assume that that's this same universe.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off what you're saying there, guys, about this too, what an interesting way to flesh out the universe that they had, where they have now you go back and read the White Knight, and there's a whole new dimension because now there's this piece to it where it's like hey, Harley helped create him. Harley did this, and this is what Jack was like before, he was the Joker when she met him, and that's why she fell in love with Jack. So that's like a whole new dimension that it gives you. You could reread that now and see new things you didn't see in the past.
True. No, I definitely want to go back and read the Azrael one now, because I've read the original and it was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this actually makes me want to read all of them. I was the end broke my heart. Not broke my heart. It brought a tear. Like, not well, it was a few tears.
Well, Jeremy, you have to understand. I think comic books have this rare thing where I don't feel comics like to give characters happy endings. That people feel that a person in a comic is not important unless there's some sort of tragedy. Like, it's never a clear win. It's kind of like a horror movie win, where you beat the evil, but you're still transformed by it. So in this one, there's loss, there's pain, there's death, there's regret, there's sorrow, but there's also hope.
Yeah.
And I think that's always been a very motivating thing in the Murphyverse, is that there's always this idea of hope. No matter how bad things are, Batman will prevail.
Absolutely.
And it's just, again, cannot recommend this thing enough. But I honestly feel that you have to start from the beginning. You have to start from the beginning, and you have to work your way through. And honestly, true believers, you will not be disappointed with this series. I've recommended it to a few people, and just like Rich recommended it to us, there's been nothing but rave reviews. So please give this a shot. Give it your money. Go.
Sounds like all four of us are very much on the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't even want to go too deep down the rabbit hole because we don't want to ruin it for people. But the character of the psychiatrist Quimby and his correlation to how he has the Harley fetish, the way Harley had the Joker fetish, and the evil mother, and the whole dichotomy of the killer, it was just phenomenal. Just the whole thing is really great.
Agreed. So,
like, I forget who said it earlier, but each character is really fleshed out in this. Nobody is brought in that is not utilized.
Agreed. So, guys, I feel like we've really said everything we want to. Do you want to rate this sucker and call it a night?
Sure.
Absolutely. Why don't we start off with our guest host, Justin? Where would you rate this bad boy out of 5?
Out of 5, I'd give it a solid 4. I think it's good. I think there's it's not a perfect story, but it's pretty good. I kind of feel like she didn't do much with her kids, and that was kind of like a very loose thread where it's like they were more used as like bait for her or anything else like that. So I think they could have developed that a little bit better. But I mean, it's enjoyable. It gives extra dimensions to something you've already read. I think it's worth checking out. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Okay.
Rich.
All right, Rich.
Well, I'm going to give this one of my highest ratings. I've never given a 5. I don't want to say that this is a 5. I don't want to say this is a 4.95. Impressive. Wow. I mean, as everyone's been saying, the whole Murphy / Collins universe is phenomenal. I still need to delve into the Red Hood one, and now apparently Generation Joker is the newest one.
Dude,
and I haven't even read the the Batman Future one.
Same here. Beyond.
Batman Beyond, because that is supposed to be phenomenal as well. So I really have to get all this in. But I mean,
looks like we both got quite a bit of homework.
Yeah, and I did some research. Apparently, there's at least 3 coming untitles coming in the 3 upcoming untitles in that universe. So if you guys, if you feel on the fence about DC in any way, this is something to delve into. Start with White Knight and to go from there. You'll love it. I promise.
And Rich, just to let you know, read Beyond, and then you read the Red Hood issues in the middle of that, and then you keep reading Beyond. That's how that goes. It all ties into it. So just letting you know.
All right.
I'm all caught up, so I know this.
I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, 4.95 Harley hammers. And what about you, Drew?
You know, I'm gonna give it a 4.5. It's not a perfect book, but I really just enjoy the breath of fresh air that this is. It's really nice to read a balanced book. Everybody brought their A game. Everybody told a great story. You know, everyone is satisfied. So I'm giving it a 4.5 bolo knives. So that's me. Jeremy.
I'm going 4.75. We're almost perfect. Like, it's a great book. I laughed, I cried, it held my interest enough that I didn't even fall asleep during it. I read straight through.
That's a big deal.
Well, I have a problem of falling asleep while I read. So
You do.
this was fantastic for me. I read through the first 4 issues, got into the issue 5, put it down for maybe an hour, and then picked it up and finished it. It was great. I would recommend this to everybody, starting with the White Knight, and then I don't know if you have to go in chronological order with Azrael and everything, because I read this before Azrael, but if you do, then I didn't notice. It's really good stuff.
Yes, so just in terms of everybody, just to let you know of the proper timeline, White Knight, Curse of the White Knight, Von Freeze, which is technically like a prequel series, but it still is relevant to that universe. Harley, Beyond, the Red Hood is in between the Beyond, and then after Beyond, you have, as Rich said, one of the 3. We're not going to tell you the rest of them because we have to leave something for you to figure out on your own. We can't tell you everything because then why the fuck would you read? Okay, so Generation Joker, going to be really great. Thoroughly pumped. But, yep. So, Justin, you want to sign us off?
So with that, you folks can follow us on the Splash Pages Comic Book Club website. You can check out our respective social media pages. We'll start off with Mr. Velvet J. You want to tell people where they can find you?
Sure, absolutely. Guys, you can find me here, Facebook, and you can find me here every Tuesday night here on the award-winning Splash Pages. Throwback King, it's your man, Velvet J. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on YouTube, Velvet Joker 1. These are the places you can find me. Reach out, watch my content, love my stuff, love me, love these guys. We all do fun stuff. We're all creative people. Dig it. Drew,
Mr. Jeremy, Drew.
What? There's so many choices. Jeremy, go.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, hey, thanks for watching, and come check me out March 18th and 19th at Connecticut GamerCon at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. I'm going to be chilling with Kyle Hebert, Marta Spatek, and Caitlin Glass up on stage doing panels with them. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll be a lot more fun if all of you show up too. So please do. If you want to hang out with me ever, check me out on Facebook as Jeremy Courtney, or go over to Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction page and hang with the other 20,000 people that buy, sell, trade, and auction all of their wonderful geek stuff every day. We have a lot of rules, but our main rule is if you scam anybody, you're gone. But yeah, and check us out here on Splash Pages.
Yeah. Splash Pages, everybody.
David Caruso, everyone.
You can find that guy over there that doesn't want to say anything. Ghostbuster Man 1984 on Instagram. Find him, message him, tell him funny things.
I hate these guys. See you next week. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. All right.
So I'm not Leo, but you can Google Leo Pond, and you may find a whole bunch of things that are maybe true, and you may find out a little bit of a thing called the Dorkening Network. Right? You can do that. That's usually his spiel, right?
Yeah, that's
40 shows on the
40 shows.
Choose from. One of which is all about Ninja Turtles. You can check that out.
Yeah, there is. a lot of great people doing a lot of great things on
Yep.
the Dorkity Podcast Network.
And tune in. One of these shows, we're going to have a tip jar, or how many times we interrupt each other during one show. Will we have enough to
And that
buy our
man
own
Justin,
table?
our co-host
Who knows?
right there,
Then next week.
Stop interrupting.
The con.
Right there is on Comic Paradox, and he has a Ninja Turtle show called
Epic Tales from the Sewers.
Epic Tales from the Sewers.
Help that man buy more ooze.
Shellbacks. Get it. Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Thanks for watching, guys, and good night.
Good night.